What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is New Year, January 1st, 2021. I know you are as excited as I am to see 2020 get her behind up out of here. But this is Empty with K-Raz, our first show of the year. Now I can kind of let my hair down. I've done a couple of run-throughs. And so now I think I'm ready to run. But before I start, this show is brought to you by Midtown ABC, opening soon in Lake Carolina and Solar Station. It is the spirit of Midtown. Again, the sounds you hear in the backgrounds, I do not own the rights to this music, but y'all know I love jazz, and that's what we're going to go with. Interesting fact, folks. Americans drink around 360 million glasses of sparkling wine on New Year. I thought it would be at least double that, but they just said wine, so I guess they didn't mean all the other drinks and beer and all that other good stuff. So the theme for today: when they are just the wrong person for you. This can come in many forms, as we all know, but I need y'all to follow me on this one. So my sisters, in particular, my oldest sister, was one who kind of followed my relationship pursuits. And she was home one, I don't know if it was a holiday or whatever reason she was home visiting. But she was talking to me about it. And in her evaluation of it, she found that, or she made a determination that my issues was I always chose damsels in distress. What exactly does that mean, Kevin? Damsels in distress. Well, every woman that I met needed me for something. They was in a need. They didn't necessarily want me, but they needed me. So that kind of damsel in distress thing kind of stuck with me as I really looked at, okay, was she right? Because as I thought back, I know a lot of guys who move in with women and they need their cars and all this other stuff. But I never met those that I could do that with. Even if I could move in with them, I had to be careful because the house may have been going in foreclosure or an eviction was on the horizon. Repo man was looking for them, whatever. And so I kind of came in because business is my thing. And at one point, I was a mortgage broker for 10 years. So I could help. And is that true feeling of love or appreciation? When I could do something for them that they couldn't do for themselves. So, absolutely, they were the wrong people. Absolutely, I didn't give it a chance to blossom outside of me helping them to kind of get on their feet and things like that. I blame myself, but ultimately it came to the point where I just determined, look, this is the wrong person for me, and I got out of Dodge. A lot of people know, and I've had this conversation with folks, after I've been in a relationship, I began to lose interest because it wasn't a genuine interest for both of us at the time that we met, it always fizzed out. Yeah. So I came up with this clause that I had in my head. Didn't necessarily communicate that to them, but marriage was a 5-year maximum for me. Is that fair? But it was what I kind of came up with and determined. Why? Because the trend kept happening. Kept bringing in folks or bringing in people that I didn't know was genuinely there for me. I'm not the type to try and work a whole lot of things out that I think should naturally be working. So I ran with that. And, I was the cold feet guy. I was the king of annulments. Not really staying with someone. But I really had to sit back and try to figure this thing out as to, am I really supposed to be with someone? I got a lot of friends 50 years old and never been married, never been engaged. And they seem to be living fine because they can't find the right person. But in reality, maybe it's me. Right? Maybe I'm the cause of running into the wrong person. It's like that's what I'm geared toward somehow. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm sure it's me. So, how do I come to a solution to this problem? For me, I took time off for me. A couple times in my life, I have been celibate for long stretches of time. I was raising my oldest son and my daughter by myself, and I was so focused on trying to raise them and do things the right way. I really wasn't focused on relationship or needs or anything like that. I was really wrapped up in the kids. So there was a long stretch that I didn't even entertain folks. At the end of that, I did, and still ended up with a damsel in distress. Ultimately, now, probably about 3 years ago, I'm a PTSD vet, and so I have my moments, my blow-ups, my anxiety, and it overflowed and caused a relationship to end that a lot of people loved, probably more than we did. And so I went into intense therapy because I had to figure this out. At this point, I was starting to really concern myself with the erratic behavior and how, with PTSD, how this thing was just coming up and exploding and you're not really figuring things out. Around this time, I started blacking out, trying to figure this stuff out. I'm assuming it was more stress that was causing it, but ultimately ended up finding out it was a couple other things. But during the time of the counseling, I went back celibate, not doing anything with anyone, shut myself off for a year to fix me so that I could clean slate myself. I could flush out all of the bad stuff that was causing me to make these decisions that didn't make very much sense. So that time being alone, I had my dog, of course, and he is a husky. So, huskies are pretty smart dogs. They are able to read your feelings and things like that. And so Ranger really spent a lot of time with me. I invested a lot of time in him, and he can determine when I was getting sad or depressed or whatever. But I cleansed a lot. I found out a lot of things about myself. There will be a lot of shows where I will reveal a lot of things about myself that caused me to have some damages that led me to decisions that led me down different roads that ultimately were not in my best interest. But after that time, it's like I could see clear. I could focus. I didn't make a whole lot of bad decisions. Now, I still make mistakes. And I made a mistake in almost going into a relationship that I know would have been damaging, not just for me and that person, but for their family. Because I didn't want people to continue to hate me because they're thinking I'm mean or I'm crazy, when there's certain things that I just can't tolerate. I gotta have the right situation and the right person. What looks good is not always good. And we have to be able to make the best decision for ourselves, especially when it comes to people. Because you're going to be in close proximity. This is the person that can pull a plug on you. This is the person you are, for lack of a better statement, swapping bodily fluids with. It's kind of funny, but it's not. So you really got to make sure that this is the right person. So I think for me, and I always speak for me, this show is from my perspective. And if you get something from it, great. But I believe our testimony is how other people can help determine their way. And it may be not for everyone, but for someone in particular, their way. I believe we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be honest with people. Most relationships that ended bad, they saw something in that other person that told them that was the wrong person a long time ago. But we want to work it out. We want to try to determine this, that, and the other thing, when in reality, we knew that was the wrong person from the beginning. We can't fix people. People have to fix themselves. And most times they need spiritual guidance to even fix that. No, the Build-A-Bear thing, you can't do that. I know you want to. No offense. I know a lot of ladies try to do that. He would be a good man if right person. The right person. It is an awesome feeling to get it right. It's an awesome feeling to not have to ask someone to change themselves. You get it right, you get it right. Inspiring quote: never be afraid to let people go if they're not right. Often, that's the only way you can make room for the right person. Our next show, is there a such thing as soulmates? Yeah. Soulmates, huh? Yeah. So, thank y'all for joining me today. Give me some comments on it. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of